Well, hello again, and yes, it has been a while. I've been away out on the road, and I just wanted to give a little update about my trip that I went on. And I'm going to call this particular little conversation "The Grass is Not Always Greener on the Other Side of the Fence, but Sometimes It Is." And now, the reason I wanted to call it that is because that saying, when we look into it, a lot of times we take it as the grass is never greener, but it says it's not always greener. I believe that's the one I learned as a kid anyway, which means that if it's not always, that means that sometimes it is. I told a story a little while ago about this guy Gary Halbert, who years ago he was trying to help somebody whose construction company was in the tank, and he was trying to build up a construction company in a town that was on the fritz, like it was the major employer of the town had basically closed shop, and Gary Halbert's advice was maybe find out where all the people are going and go there. So sometimes in a case like that, it is greener over there, which doesn't mean that it's not somewhat green where you are, but sometimes there are other opportunities, and if you are nimble, young, whatever it is, and not attached to whatever, and you can go, that's might be a good opportunity. So, anyways, I went out here because, well, there was a couple of reasons. One was I have family there, so I thought I could have a chance to visit. I'd like to go there maybe once a year at least for that reason, and also because another family member who's young and so on and was looking for potential opportunity. So I said, well, while I'm out there, I'll have a look around, see what's available, right? And also, I like to look at what's going on for myself because who knows, if there's a real good opportunity, maybe I'd take advantage of that as well. Now, basically, this is a town. So here's the setting, this area. A town of, I'm not sure the population is 6 or 7 thousand people. And there's a big project moving in. And because of that project, there's going to be more than just 5 or 6 thousand people moving in, probably 8 or 9 or 10 thousand people moving in. So you take an area, take a geographic region. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. Just think of the logic of this. You take a town of 6,000 people and you add 10,000 people to it. That is a dramatic increase. That's like gold rush status, right? So while what they're doing is usually all pre-planned and so on, what about all the services? Right? What about the restaurants? What about the office supply stores? What about the rental shops? What about the car, the automotive repair shops and the delivery shops and all these sorts of things? They see a dramatic increase. So what I did when I was there, I just sort of snooped around a little bit, and it's early in the phase, right? They're just getting started, but there's already probably 500 or 800 new people have moved in. So you already see a dramatic, but nothing, maybe 10% of what's going to move in has moved in. So, and even then, and I'd walk into these places and I'd ask, do you guys need any help? And it's like, wow, yeah, you know anybody? Can you start? And so on. And I remember I went into this one delivery company, truck. They deliver stuff around. They have long hauls, but mostly just short hauls. And I was just asking the person at the desk and the lady in the back, who's I guess in charge of employment, whatever. She comes running out. Hey, can you? Here's the number and the email directly to the owner of the company. Contact him right away. And we need people right now. And so this is a case of grass could be greener. Especially what depends what kind of grass you're looking for. That is right. If you're looking for employment grass, and then you're young, if you look where the demand is, I would say either the demand in region or demand in field, right? So people who are young, coming out of high school, heaven forbid, or uh, whatever it is, getting started in the world, and looking for a labor of something to do, somewhere to put your efforts into, making a livelihood or whatever. It's a good idea to see where the hot markets are, or the potential hot markets, or the regions where there could be hot markets. And in that case, the grass can be greener over there, right? For opportunities. Now, that always comes with challenges, of course, like trying to find, places to stay, and the cost of other things, because, like in gold rush towns, everybody jacks up their prices. But if you've got family there, or you get in early enough and you can establish yourself, then you can have the little bit lower cost, relative anyway, but great opportunity. Because also the wages are going to be higher, significantly higher. And but what's interesting too is how cultures are different, town to town and region to region, even in an area that basically has a similar culture, same language and everything, same country, you could say. But in this particular little town, almost nobody puts up help wanted signs. It's bizarre because everywhere else I've lived, I've lived in lots of different places that have had an economic boom, including the place that I'm at now. It had a huge economic boom, arguably even more than what I'm talking about. I mean, this is how much of a boom it was here when I first came here. When I first came here, okay, so I had an out of province number plate on the car, so I was obviously seen as somebody from away, and anybody from away was basically pounced upon. Say, hey, do you have employment yet? Can you help us? Can you come over here, or whatever? This has never happened to me before. I was driving down this road to a little ferry. There was a ferry that crossed the river, and I thought I saw out of the corner of my eye somebody running. And I looked around, looked in the rearview mirror, and there's this lady running full tilt behind my car because I'm going kind of slowly as I approach the ferry to the parking lot, right? This lady's running full tilt with her arm outstretched with a flyer. So I stopped and I said, hello, can I help you? And she says, yeah. She says, are you new here? And I said, yeah. She says, yeah, because we're hiring down at the plant over here. We're short staffed and we need people like right now. Just come on in and we can get you working right away. And I had never seen that before. But that's, they're more here. They're more outgoing in terms of putting out signs for help wanted and what have you when there's demand for that, and obviously running after cars. Like you go to some countries and there's people out on the street, begging for money or whatever, but these people are they were actually running after people to employ them. It was funny. So, anyways, I did end up by working with that company for a while when I first moved. Anyway, so but in this place that I went to recently, it's very it seems like very conservative and very low brow. And no help wanted signs anywhere. Like I'm thinking, okay, you need people really bad. Why not put a sign out front? But no, when you go in there, they just, yeah, don't leave. We need you right now. So yeah, it was kind of funny. And so yeah, basically that's the message of this particular little conversation today, is that the grass is not always greener. It's maybe not normally greener, but in this case, in certain cases it is, depending on what we're looking for. As long as we weigh the pros and the cons. I mean, if we move into a situation, well, I can remember only a few years ago at the height of Fort Mac, sure there was big wages there and so on, but the cost of getting a place to rent, you could pay thousands of dollars per month just to rent a place, because it was so much. It's always a tipping point, right? Like when there's lots of work and very few people, then there's opportunity to get reasonable cost rent or purchase or whatever. But in the late stage of it, everybody has found out. So now everybody's making their way there to try to find employment and opportunity and what have you. So there's huge demand for all the services like the rents, the places to stay and whatever. So they're sky high. So you're spending most of your money on that. But early stages, yeah, the grass can be greener, especially for young people getting started. If they're not tied to any particular location, then they're nimble, they can move around, they don't have kids in schools and what have you, then it can be a great opportunity, I would say. Like for young people to go to Odessa, Texas. I was down in Texas a few months back, and there's an oil boom in a town called Odessa, Texas. Now, mind you, that maybe everything's sky high there too, but think about early on when it was just getting started. There was still lots of work early on, but not many people had found out about it. So you could nail down a place to stay. That's the key. That's the key, is nailing down a place to stay. And once you have that, then you can make some real good quid. And then maybe when the boom's over, move on, or at the peak of the boom, sell out and move out. After you've done it. But yeah, certainly from time to time, the grass can be greener on the other side, I would say. If you like what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.